My name is Joshua Orrantia. I go by Josh, and I am the owner and broker here at Country Real Estate in Tehachapi, California. So I ended up in Tehachapi. It's a true story, funny story. My in-laws live in Northern California. So one of the things we hate doing is traversing the grapevine and dealing with Los Angeles traffic. So my father-in-law said, hey, when you get to Bakersfield, hang a left on the 58 and go through this little town called Tehachapi. Coming up the 58, the hills were just so green and beautiful, rolling hills coming up out of Bakersfield. And we get to the top and there's snow on the mountain and our dog has to go to the bathroom. So we pulled off the road and came into the business district, stopped at the McDonald's to let the dog use their grass. And I can remember just standing around looking at the beauty all around. And so this is about the time that Realtor.com was just hitting the internet. So when we got back home to San Diego, and we were going to be married 4 months later, and it was like I could either buy a small home in San Diego built in 1910, maybe 800 square feet, 2-bedroom for $500,000, or I could come to Tehachapi and get a starter home. It was like 1,100 square feet for $94,000. And this is back in 2002. And we were just getting started. And it was like, yeah, let's see what's going on up there. Favorite part about living in Tehachapi, it's gotta be the people. It's such a diverse group of folks, and people might have different religious beliefs, different political beliefs. But when it comes down to it, we all share something in common, which is our love for our town. Living in a small town is this sense of security and this feeling that people are watching out for you and are interested and concerned in your well-being. More of a sense of family, more of a sense of community when you're in a small town, because you do see the same people in the grocery store and you do make relationships with the checker at the check stand or the waiter or waitress at the restaurant. So because we build those relationships, there's just this feeling of knowing that we can get through everything or anything and everything will be okay. Here in Tehachapi, if there's a tragedy or if somebody's struggling with something, this community rallies around that person, that cause, or that event. Anytime there's an issue, if there's a local restaurant, when Carlos Donuts had a fire in their kitchen and they reopened, the day that they reopened, I think he sold out in record time. There was a line around the block. The movie theater here in town, when they had trouble going to digital from analog, the community rallied around to make sure that continued to move forward. The Relays for Life, any of the big charity events, our Screw Cancer event that we were doing prior to COVID, just seeing everybody come around and rally, opening up their hearts, it really just gives you a sense that people really care. In the middle of January or beginning of February, when there's not a storm rolling through, the skies are about as clear and as blue as you could possibly imagine. Real estate has always been something that's been a part of my life. I owned my first property when I was 18 years old. I've bought and sold many times, and I've realized some small financial gains from some of my sales over time. So it was always something that was there. It's just something that I wasn't ready to do. And I think after 25 years in the restaurant industry, I kind of just consider that my training to get me ready for this, because I always joke around and say, instead of selling steaks or selling beer or margaritas or something like that, I'm just selling houses instead. There's still that connective aspect of meeting a new client and connecting with them and listening to their story, finding the commonality and understanding how I can help them. And so a lot of times handing over the keys to a new house has a very similar feeling as making somebody's dining experience the best dining experience that they've ever had. So I pull a lot of parallels across from that. So even though I got into real estate late in my life, it was something that immediately brought me fulfillment and satisfaction, and has given me not only a wonderful life, but a fantastic reason to wake up every day and go to work. So when I came to work at Country Real Estate, this is when Reuben Brandon and Dale Brandon were the owners. And there was just something about the way that they communicated with us and the feeling of family. So much so that I think of the two of them as an extended part of my family. So before Reuben passed, I was fortunate enough to be offered the opportunity to purchase the company from them. And so I've really taken to heart the legacy that they started. The company's been around since 1987, and it has a long history. And so taking their legacy and kind of blending it with my background and my family history, I think it's been a perfect marriage, and we've been able to extend what they've been doing, those 35 years before I took over. And I think our culture here, the agents understand it. The agents get it. And it doesn't take a lot. Like when something works so well that it almost becomes effortless, and then you have to remember it takes a lot of effort, and you always have to work at it to make it seem so effortless. And I think everybody understands that here. And we're just a really tight, close group of excellent, ethical, educated, caring, compassionate real estate agents. And I look at all of them as extended members of my family.